Hello, my name is Sen Wang. I want to give a background about myself before I begin my presentation. I'm currently studying for a Bachelor of Economics at UTS. My hometown is Tangshan, China, and I have been in Australia for almost a year. Currently, I live in the Zealand area of Sydney. Due to its accessibility and the fact that most international students reside here, so I chose this area. The Zealand region is a multicultural area with people from different countries live in the area. Data shows that about 31% of the people are from China and 28.7% are Australians, with 0.8% being Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people and 30.5% being from different countries. The five sites I'm presenting today are recognized and Gadigal people of the Dola Nation as their local traditional custodians. Johnton Park is a must-see intercultural space on every supermarket trip, and I delighted to introduce it to you. This intercultural space allows people to gather for picnics, exercise, or relax. I see people walking their dogs and children playing in the water every time I pass by. When I entered the site and I looked closely at the public space, I realized the actual area used was more significant than I initially thought. When an adorable puppy ran up to my feet and I started taking to me, I couldn't help but asked the owner if I could pet him. For a moment, I forgot that I'm afraid of communicating with people from different cultural backgrounds because I fear misunderstanding or not understand what I mean. But our communication went smoothly. Cross-cultural contact can begin with a common interest or familiarity and then deepen into the culture. The park's history caught my attention as I walked along, so I searched the internet about the history of the park, which used to be a horse racing track. Horse racing culture and this park would not be connected without this presentation for people to observe and read. So more people read, observe, and listen, the more they get to know their surroundings, break down barriers, and make a connection on a deeper level. Also in the Zealand neighborhood is Green Square, which is surrounded by many upscale neighborhoods, coffee shop, library, and a variety of restaurant catering to diverse nationalities. My girlfriend is an art student, so I frequently accompany her to art exhibitions around this area. Located southeast of the train station exit is one of the public artworks. On the raised steps, blue, green, and red strokes appear to trace paths and represent stages in history and culture. This artwork evokes the flow and connection of the knowledge, stories, evolution, and history interconnected layers, as well as paying homage to the original custodians of the land. The Gadigal people visual and artistic expression has always been a central aspect of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island culture as a way to express their politics, spirituality, and culture. To promote cross-cultural interaction within the community, artists use artworks to connect and interact with different audiences. Multicultural forms influence people, representing a cultural non-essentialism view of the world through the interpretation of art. Cross-cultural, cross-linguistic, and cross-regional communication is possible. Through art, people from different cultural backgrounds can connect with each other and shape the identity and characteristic of that cultural space. In contrast to the highway traffic and people in a hurry, there is a library next to the train station. Having a study or workspace, or just sharing one, is what matters. After waking up early than usual, I spent the morning sitting and observing. In the morning, I saw people from all over the world rushing to buy coffee or breakfast on their way to work. I found books from different countries and different kinds of books in the library, including a section mainly containing Chinese books. There is a good blend of different cultures in this cultural space, which is open, flexible, and inclusive. They understand that people can move between different cultural groups with cross-cultural communication at Green Park Library. I really like Take Sushi, a Japanese restaurant in the local community known as the International Student Cafeteria by Chinese students. There is a reason why their restaurant is so popular among Chinese is that its taste and food style is very similar to Chinese food culture. I often heard Japanese people eating with the chef while chatting in Japanese, and due to the language barrier, I felt rusty. People still distinguish between Japanese food culture and Chinese food culture when discussing food culture, which contributes to an essentialism view of the culture. Through this cross-cultural contact, I learned about part of another culture. Nuha-san, a Sydney artist, designed the space as a child-friendly park. I was drawn to the park's colorful color when I first saw it. I learned that the artist believed in the positive power of color and used solid and bright colors. This cross-cultural area allowed me to observe how families use the public space and engaged culturally. The adults sat on benches and talked while the children read, sliced, and played. Cross-cultural contact zones create connections between people who use the environment and emphasize the connection to indigenous cultures. Gadigal people call the park Wulaba, which means rock wallaby. We cannot separate intercultural communication from cultural exploration, and visual and artistic expression are the first step to understanding another culture. In the area, sports and leisure activity are a way to strengthen social ties and have political significance. So parks, squares, and library are places for intercultural exchange. Music, dance, and theater are also important ways to express the cultural and political spirit. So on important festivals, people hold events in the plaza. The government should work with local residents to enhance cultural diversity and cultural identity. There is a reference list. Thank you for your listening.